This spreadsheet has 9,000 of sales data. Quick question, how do you know this revenue column is correct? Because you dragged the formula down, or because you actually checked all 9,000 rows? Here is the uncomfortable truth. Nobody checks 9,000 formulas. Reviewers don't, managers don't, and let's be honest, we don't either. With copied formulas, we are trusting 9,000 independent cells. With a spilled formula, we only have to trust one. That's where map comes in. Click a random row far down. This number looks reasonable. No error message, doesn't stand out, no reason to look twice. Yet somehow, this hard-coded number sneaks into our report. One cell doesn't matter much, but imagine this happening dozens of times across a report. And 3 months later, you're explaining to the CEO why the Q3 project were off by 200K. One accidental copy-paste as value can ruin your weekend. That's how small errors compound. And that's exactly why we want formulas that spill. Let's get into this trick formula that spills almost anything. Here we want the month-end date for every transaction. We start with EOMONTH. The first argument is the start date. The second argument tells Excel how many months to move forward or backward from that date. We want the end of the same month, so use 0. Now watch what happens if we try to spill this. We get a value error, because EOMONTH wasn't built for arrays. Modern Excel already spills a lot of formulas. Unfortunately, EOMONTH is not one of them. And that's exactly where map function becomes useful. Map allows us to take an array or multiple arrays and apply a calculation to each value of the array, one by one. First, we tell map which range we want to process. Then we introduce lambda. Lambda is how we define what to do to each item in the range. Inside lambda, we first give a parameter. Think of it as a placeholder or nickname for the input value. We'll call it D for dates. Then we write the calculation we would like to perform. That's our EOMONTH formula, applied to the parameter D. One calculation spills the entire column. If this formula is correct, every row is correct. We don't need to worry about the rest. Next, let's see a trickier example with 2 inputs. We want to flag employees who need a compliance email. The rule is simple. An employee is flagged if either they have completed fewer than 6 trainings or they have a prior compliance issue. The problem is the all function is too helpful. It looks at the whole range and gives us one single answer for everybody, instead of one answer per row. This time, we pass map with 2 arrays, the training completed column and the prior compliance column. Then within lambda, we'll call it T for training count and P for prior compliance issue. And we bring back the same OR formula using these parameter names. Hit enter and let it spill. Now each employee gets their own true or false result. We will send a compliance email to Alex, Chris, and Diana, while no action is needed for Ben and Evan. And later, if the row changes, say the minimum training becomes 10, we only need to go back to the first one, fix it once, and everyone else is taken care of automatically. Let's take it a step further. 3 inputs at once, max scores per student. The highest score among the 3 math quizzes becomes the term quiz score for each student. This works for one student. But if we try it on all students, Excel returns 1 maximum across the whole range. That's not what we want. With map, we pass 3 arrays, 1 per quiz column. Bring in the lambda, QA for quiz A, QB for quiz B, and so on. Then apply max. 1 result per row, no copying, no surprises. In this case though, BYROW is actually simpler. It applies a function to each row of an array and returns 1 result per row. Since max is a built-in function, we don't even need a custom lambda here. Same result, simpler formula. Similarly, in our first example with EOMONTH, BYROW could also work, but with the same self-built lambda function. Wait, If BYROW can do the same thing, why use map? Look at example 2 again. Our logic depends on two independent inputs, training count and compliance history. BYROW only accepts one array, so to make it work, we have to force everything, even irrelevant columns has nothing to do with the row, into one single range. Yes, the output looks correct, but it's right by coincidence, not by design. And that's risky. So here is the rule of thumb. Single array row by row, use BYROW. Multiple arrays and custom logic, use map for full flexibility. That's the map function. One spilled formula, one place to reveal, and it shines when the function doesn't natively spill. Make sure you try it out. If this helped, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more hands-on AI and Excel tutorials. We'll see you in the next one.